Oh, I think this might be working for once. Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. No, it's great to see you.
Oh my gosh, you too. I had all the technical difficulties. I
It's all
had
right.
Zoom
It
on my
runs.
phone, but not on my computer, so I'm downloading and
It happens. It is all good. Zoom's constantly updating too. It makes matters worse. So it's good to see you.
good to see you too.
Yes, I'm excited to be able to delve in today. And just before we get started, I want to let you know I'm happy to send you your scribble in the mail.
Okay.
So after we do this, if you just send your address to Heather, we'll get that in the snail mail for you.
Totally.
It's just a nice
I
memento.
will love that because I will frame it.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you. I'm excited to see what comes in. And as always, we'll see kind of what comes to the surface. I find that it's really those kind of personal, innermost things that often rely on coincidence. So, very oftentimes, recently discussed subjects, things that are going on in our life right now. The point of a reading is for it to be kind of timely. So,
Okay.
we'll kind of see what comes up. And then, if there's anything significant that I missed, you'll totally have the chance to ask about it. I just like to see what organically kind of comes to the surface.
Okay, good. I'll let you do your thing. I took some notes from the last time. I do have my sister. She's on speakerphone on mute listening because last time you kept saying so many things and I'm like, nope, I can't place that. And her and I are super similar. So I'm like, I feel comfortable and safe and I made no one else around, but just in case you do say something and I'm not like putting it together.
Okay, amazing. Was there anything she was able to put together from our time together that you
Yes,
weren't?
the last time I like took all notes because you kept saying things over and over again and I couldn't think of it. And then everyone was like, this is so obvious. And I just
It's all good.
couldn't.
It's a lot when we're on the spot. So
Yeah.
please, I totally get it. And oftentimes, I think we hear what we're not expecting to hear, and that doesn't always help.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll hear from like a completely different side of family, or
Oh,
something.
I mean, you just said you couldn't have. I'm like, I don't have to prove to you that your gift is real. Every single thing you said was so completely spot on and true. There was just this one thing you kept saying that I couldn't figure it out. And then everyone else who heard it knew right away. And so it was like interesting to see everyone else's perspectives from that little bit of time.
Yeah, I love it. Well, very cool. We'll see where we're going to kind of go because there's a bunch of different directions. I want to immediately go into about 3 different avenues, and all of which would be passed away. But we're also going to talk about living people. We'll kind of go from there. There's kind of an interesting emphasis on trying to kind of symbolically separate family sides based off of theology. So I'll kind of explain this. There's an emphasis on like my symbol for like Lutheran, and then there's like a Catholic thing, but it's like very different faiths, but both kind of converging in some capacity.
Okay.
Do you know if there's like the Catholic and the other Christian side that kind of like met within family?
I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem. It's like very Catholic and then very not Catholic.
Okay, so my dad, okay, hold on. I'm like, what am I don't know. My mom's family's super Catholic, and then my dad's family, we did the Lutheran thing. So growing up, my dad.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, that was probably it. Because we used to do both on Christmas, which is also my birthday. We would go to the Catholic Mass, we'd go to the Lutheran Mass, and then we would do both.
Got it. That's funny. So that would be the way that it's kind of symbolically presenting is just kind of differences theologically. But let me delve in because there's a number of different things. Oh my goodness. There's like the 3 there. Mom's side, dad's side. There's an acknowledgement. I mean, look, with names, sometimes these things are kind of general, but there's an acknowledgement of a Joseph, an acknowledgement of an Ellen, and that's good to keep in mind. Ellen, that comes in.
Okay.
But also Joseph in that aspect there. And then there is kind of an emphasis, let's see. Okay.
Oh, man.
There's an emphasis on birthday twins, but this would be kind of acknowledging either the same day or the same month. Let me figure out what this is also.
Okay, so you brought this up last time and I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
And you were saying, and I don't know, do you want me to, I don't know if I should interrupt or just let you go.
Yeah. Were you able to piece it together?
Yeah, so my sister's daughter was born the day my husband's father died. And you kept talking about this thing, and I couldn't, I don't know, you like said there's like a thing or symbol for that. And I was like, oh, I
Yes.
don't know. And
I
but I
remember it
was
was kind of a situation of one date having dual significance. And so in this
significance.
case, it was a birthday and and
Yeah.
a death date.
And you kind of
What I
kept,
kind
you, it
of,
was funny because the whole reading, the whole hour and 20 minutes, you kind of kept saying that through multiple different people. And I was like, oh, that's, we always joked that that was like the Phoebe Bobby thing. And then,
yeah.
but I wasn't sure if that's what it is or if it's two people
Yeah.
that have the same birthday. But I
I
don't,
think that would have been referencing to that. What this is, they're having me acknowledge birthday month, but two people being born recently. So who had the like? Basically, we're in April,
oh,
so recent birthdays.
so my son's birthday, Ellen.
Ellen Edelman, her birthday wasn't her birthday in April.
Okay, so Ellen, who passed, my niece,
Let me see.
Okay.
my cousin Ellen passed.
Oh, no, she
You
was
wrote that
March.
down, and I wrote niece, but it is my cousin. And if her birthday was in April, this is where I was like, I need my sister for this.
Her birthday was March 15th.
March 15th. But
March
my
15th.
son's birthday was Sunday. He's the 27th. My husband's the 25th. My sister's the 24th. So we just celebrated like 4 birthdays in the last,
Bunch
like,
of birthdays.
in the
Got it.
last, like, and I have 2 of my friends share the same birth. My best friend, who you were talking about the Phoenix thing, her birthday is the same day as my husband's birthday.
Wow.
So
Very
when you were
cool.
like
Small
the
world.
Phoenix rising from the ashes, I'm like, man, my friend Christina always says that to me. And she shares a birthday with my husband, the 25th.
I
So
see.
we just
Okay,
celebrated that
very
in
cool.
April. But Ellen, I think when you just said Ellen, I immediately thought of Ellen Edelman, my cousin
Yeah.
who passed.
Yeah. It definitely is always significant as far as kind of literally signifying who they are or who they're with.
Yeah.
And that just kind of hit me just right off the bat. And so I like to just kind of verbalize that immediately. There is a couple different references, and I don't mean to just kind of
No, you
steamroll
go,
off.
you
I just
go,
like to try
you
to get
go.
everything out. There's a funny reference that I just want you to keep in mind related to a memory involving really smelly tinned fish. Now, this is a cultural thing in some capacity. I'm going to give you kind of a similar, comparable example. I am Dutch. We have black licorice. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. But anyway, I was exposed to it as a kid. It smells like feet. It's horrible. And I have a funny formative memory associated with that. If we think about gross fish memories, I don't know if this is tinned or canned, but it's bleh.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So
Okay.
we're Latvian on my dad's side,
Okay.
the Lutheran side.
Okay.
And we grew up eating like all kinds of tin fish. I always get sardines or anchovies on my salads. We grew up eating this, Katie, what was that fish called? The herring, pickled herring. Like we
Yeah.
Oh,
eat
yes.
it, and everyone thinks it's disgusting, but we would eat pickled herring with my grandpa, like
Oh.
on my dad's side, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's so Latvian of you to eat the pickled herring and
That's
these
so cute.
pickled fish.
Right. It comes
Which is
across
like-
as sentimental. It
Yeah.
again symbolizes, I would even assume, that connection with grandfather. It just comes across as a memory, symbolic, sentimental, blast from the past.
Oh, every time I eat it or I like go buy it in the grocery store and I'll get it. And then my husband's like, that's disgusting. That's so Latvian of you. It's so gross. Everyone thinks it's so gross. First of all, it's like a pickled herring in a white cream sauce. And I would eat it on dark rye bread. And every time I eat it, I'm like, my grandfather,
Yes.
because of where we're from, we would always
Right.
eat it.
It's
And so everyone
cultural.
thinks it's weird and gross, but my entire family loves tin fish. And even when
Yeah.
we go out to dinner, the waiter knows that I want extra anchovies. So he'll put like this disgusting pile of anchovies on my salad, which like everyone else is like repulsed by, but it's
That
just
is so
like
cute.
our family thing because it's Latvian.
Yes. Well, it definitely comes across as a pungent symbol, let me tell you.
Okay, that's so
There is
funny.
one thing that's good to keep in mind, and this might be so wrong and off the wall, but it's related to career, and it will apply somehow within family. If there's any opportunities for, say, like 2 sisters, one sister to help another sister get a job, or one sister helps share her resources with another sister as far as like expertise in one field of what one does. I know it might sound left field, but if there's any opportunities for like a sibling to be like, look, let me guide you into perhaps this direction, it just seems like one helping the other in some kind of deeper way.
Well, that
but
makes,
like
that
career
makes a
expertise.
ton of sense because my sisters and I all work together, and we all have different. We kind of rely on each other all the time in real estate, but that totally makes sense.
Good. It looks positive. It just kind of looks like stronger together, sharing resources, everyone having their own niche, but like working together. I do want to bring up, there is an emphasis on a couple kind of younger situations that pop in. There's two that are kind of significant that come through. One would be female. Okay. Let me see here. There's actually, this could be three. What's this? I have a situation involving a pregnancy that would have gone south. Basically a situation where there's a loss of this pregnancy, but it's not, I'm trying to think of how to articulate this. Basically, it's not unusual for miscarriages to happen, but it is unusual when someone feels like they're all good, they've got the all clear, or they're past a point where that would be like a traditional concern. I just feel kind of extra taken off guard by the way that this loss would have gone. And there's just this acknowledgement of, the loss of a pregnancy still has a lot of meaning and value. And like, I know people separate it sometimes from child loss, but there's just this feeling of like honoring our feelings, honoring that experience, and that being very important. And just, it's okay to feel.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
When when we first spoke, so this is like so funny. In all transparency, I've like followed you for years. I've always like loved you. I signed up in 2020 for your fireside chat, and then I never subscribed. I just like created an account with a fake name. I even put a fake name, and you called me by my real name, which was hilarious. I'm like, I can't even trick you on here. I put like Kirsten Bierk, because I was like, that way she couldn't search me. And then you're like, I want to chat with Kristen. It's the day of Kristen. It's the day of Kristen. And I was just laughing because I'm like, I can't even trick you.
I'm dyslexic. I probably read.
No, but it was just funny because I'm like, you just know. You're like, well, it's Kristen. It's Kristen. I'm choosing Kristen. And I was 28 weeks pregnant, and I lost my baby on August 17th. And I was just so helpless and sad. And for some reason, the Instagram ad to like, go to your fireside chat. And I was like, you always just give peace and healing. I'm going to just subscribe. It was the first time I ever listened. It was September 10th. So like 2 weeks after I lost the baby. And then you chose me. So I wasn't even like, when we were talking, I wasn't even like processing information because the hurricane had just happened here. Everything was kind of all over the place. And I was 28 weeks pregnant. And I lost our daughter. And, we had already done all the ultrasounds and everything was great and everything was fine. And she just passed. And, I know you like had brought up some things from that reading, which no one would have known. Number one, with the fake name. But number two, you talked about like 3 people being buried or honored at one time in one place. And a week prior to that, or 2 weeks prior to that, we had just buried her with my Latvian grandparents, and all 3 of them, well, they were in urn, but had been like traveling around. All 3 of them were buried on the same day, like 2 weeks before I spoke to you. And I'm like, no one could have known that. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't have to validate you because it's real. But I mean, so many of those things that you said then were, and even now, just, to bring that up, I was hoping that, you would say something about her today. And absolutely. But of course it's you will. I'm like, I don't have to tell you that this is real. I don't need to tell you that this is real. You don't need validation, but it's just incredible how your gift and sharing it with everyone.
I feel so privileged to meet people like you and to be able to have these conversations, and I really appreciate you sharing that with me, because I know it's not easy, and when this comes through, it just feels very light and very at peace and very at ease, and I truly believe we all are in essence walking each other home. I think we truly see each other again, and we catch up on lost potential.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that there's something to that. So
all right, I'll let you go now. I'm gonna go to mute. So you...
There's a couple areas I want to kind of cover, because there's a number of different things. I mean, we're gonna go a couple. Oh, I'm like getting pulled in 3 different directions.
Okay.
One, this is gonna sound kind of strange, but it'll apply when it comes to career.
Okay.
There's gonna be kind of an unusual overlap with people showing interest in like event management. I wouldn't call it like catering as much, but think like commercial space being used for events.
Okay.
It sounds off the wall, but there's going to be kind of a conversation between an emphasis on like commercial and residential, but like what can we do in the commercial space?
Okay.
And just if there's anything involving like pairing with event companies, or even if it sounds kind of unusual, just keeping our feelers out for that.
Yeah.
Looks cool. There is. Let me look there. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. That. Huh. Randomly quiet, which is fine. It just means usually the shifting of gears. At this point, what we can do, well, let's talk about living people. As far as like anyone.
Well, I know you had said the 3 girls before I jumped in about Grace, the pregnancy one.
Yes.
And you said the other 2 that had passed. You said you were getting 3.
There were 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So the interesting thing, so it was a total of 3 people. 2 were female, one was male, just to be clear.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I might have botched my description initially, but the pregnancy could be female.
Okay.
There's a second female that comes through who obviously was much older when she passed, but there's still a feeling of prematurity.
Okay.
And I don't know if that would be cousin or like what the deal is there, but it comes in as female too soon. And then I have a man coming in who would have passed away before the age of 55. And he strikes me as kind of a curious figure as well. Now, there is that reference to Joseph that comes through, and that is unrelated to the passing of under 55, but it could act as a hint of like an area to look at or a part of family.
Man, I wish I knew. I'm wondering if the male under 55 is Bobby, or was he older than that? Katie, do you know?
I think he was older, but let me check.
Okay. And the Joseph.
The only Joseph I think did mom have
My
her
mom,
brother Joe, but he passed when he was younger, and then I was thinking about Joseph Mala, but that he's alive, but his mom definitely passed before she was 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect it's related to a departed Joseph.
Okay.
Joseph is definitely passed.
So my mom had a brother that passed. Katie, do you remember how old he was? Like 19 or something?
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah. And he had like diabetes or something, wasn't it?
Some kind of health.
He's related to Ellen.
Okay.
They're on that same side of my mom's family.
He would
The
be
Catholic side.
one
The
of
Catholic side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he I know it might seem a little unusual because it's like going back, but that he puts a very strong emphasis on himself.
Okay.
Which is so crazy because I talked to our Aunt Georgia today.
Oh.
Wow.
And we were talking about kids, and we were talking about, all of how quick it goes by, and how you have to just be so involved and spend time with them, and that's her daughter was Ellen.
Her daughter was Ellen.
Oh.
And that was definitely a life taken too young. I don't know if you're getting
way too young.
Way too young. I don't know if you're getting anything from there regarding Ellen. I know you said it right away, and I just got like kind of a like a feeling in my stomach, and especially now hearing that my sister talked to her mom today, and I talked to her a lot when I lost the baby, because we were saying like how losing a child is you know, and,
Yes.
and I remember she even said to me in that moment, I can't imagine what you're going through. And I was like, whoa, I can't even imagine what you went through losing your daughter.
Yes.
You know, and it was just interesting. And then you said her name, and was just kind of curious if there's
Yes. Let's
what's
look and
kind of,
see.
yeah.
So, when we talk about Ellen, one thing that's going to be good to keep in mind is probably writing down information because it'll be something to kind of inquire about. But there's a number of things that pop in. So, for some reason, there's a very strong emphasis on Christmas time, and it comes across very sweet and very sentimental. But yeah, there's a feeling of my symbol with this of when someone has kind of like it is symbolically the star on a Christmas tree. It's kind of more of a feeling of like I'm above, watching over, looking up. So usually that means that there's some coveted item that we would associate with the little girl that we would put up on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be something to kind of look into when it comes to her mother. There is an emphasis on 7, and that's usually either the 7th month, the 7th of a month, or the number 7. But let me figure that out. It'd be January, February, March, April, May, June. So like July. So it could be July, could be the 7th, or it could refer to someone being 7 years old.
She was older than 7. Katie, do you know about her birthday or what the day she passed?
I have her birthday as March 15th, but I just texted all of those people to ask about Joseph, and all I can
Ask
see
about this. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember.
No worries. It's usually just kind of like either
Yeah,
who they are or who they're with, but I'm going to kind of ease into it a little further, and we're going to kind of go from there. Because I want to bring up. Oh, weird. This is strange. There's an acknowledgement of feeling when it comes to Ellen, this whole conversation of I wish I could trade places with you. I wish I could trade places with you. That I know that's not something that normally comes through. It's a sentiment certainly a parent may feel, but it just doesn't normally come through. So I wonder if this was like said, like, I wish I could take your spot. Do you know why she would be bringing me back? They're bringing me to the 90s for some reason. So I'm going before the year 2000. Out of curiosity, when was she born?
That's got to be really close.
Okay.
Katie, do you know when she was born? So she was younger than you, right? She was born in probably the 90s.
Yeah.
I think she was born in the 90s. And she was little. It's so funny. When you said little girl, I wrote that down. She was tiny. She was like really premature. She was always a tiny little girl.
Yeah, little one.
Like she was, I mean.
So, I'm seeing the 90s, and you know those glasses that people have? Where they, like the bigger glasses, bigger rim glasses?
Yeah.
There's a sweet photo with this that kind of comes across. And I don't know if it was her who was wearing these, or if there was the feeling of an older person, but big rim glasses. One thing that does come through for her that's good to keep in mind, I do wonder if her vision would have kind of been affected in some way. There's an area of emphasis on feeling very inflamed when we talk about her overall well-being. My nervous system feels inflamed. My brain feels it just feels very inflamed. It's weird.
Yeah, I swear.
She had failure to thrive.
She had failure to thrive as a baby, and she was in the NICU for a really long time. I could almost swear she would have had glasses. I know she just struggled a lot her whole life with things and issues, and
I definitely get a sense of ease with this. It just seems like, as strange as this sounds, so if someone was going through so many health problems and struggled so much, generally family would kind of be able to prepare. And as odd as this sounds, there's just the sense of people who should have been there physically to say goodbye, not getting the chance to do that. So despite her not being in great health, and despite that inferring that one would likely be keeping a watchful eye, the feeling is like, no, I go without that. And that kind of was meant to be that way. But there's this feeling of let go of any guilt. I don't want people feeling bad for not being around. Like, I didn't want them to see this.
That 100% makes sense.
So that definitely pops in, and that would be a really good message to kind of extend, perhaps,
Yeah.
if they're
I
open.
will definitely let her mom know that. She did take her own life.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
She had been dealing with some stuff, and she had recently got married, like within a few years, I think, and for some reason there was a gun in the house, and she just took her life. And so, I mean, we all had a lot of questions because, you know, why was there a gun in the house? And knowing she had been dealing with stuff and having some mental health things and some other stuff going on. There was just a lot, I think, surrounding it, a lot of questions. And we grew up with her a lot in the 90s because they used to live in Tampa when we were in St. Pete. And we did spend a lot of time with her growing up. And then, you know, as we all got older, she had moved away. Was she in Dallas at the time, Katie? Or,
I think so, yeah.
yeah, then they had moved to Texas and she was with her mom there. And
Right.
so,
Yes. You know, I can say that just from the history of doing readings, anytime I see my symbol for the letting go of guilt, not wanting people to hold on to, you know, personal feelings of responsibility,
yeah.
it's very much that. So I hope that can at least, it can be said that that came through and might ease some.
Yeah. Which I'm like not surprised at all that she would come through. Like we grew up very much together. Like we loved her. Like she was like our little baby sister. We kind of dressed her up as a doll. You saying that with glasses. I'm like, I could almost see her wearing someone's glasses. Like everything you're describing, I'm like, would have been how our relationship was with her. Because when they lived in Tampa, we did spend a ton of time together growing up. But then she did move away. I don't remember what year, but there was just a long period of time where we weren't as close with her just because of physical distance. But
yes, it happens. Absolutely. Are there any people who are alive that you're kind of curious about? Anybody who you would be just kind of wanting to check in on perhaps their well-being or trajectory?
I mean, I don't know if there's anyone coming to mind. I mean, my parents obviously always, I think you always kind of worry a little bit.
Yeah. You know, to be honest, nothing really is hitting me over the head. One thing to keep in mind that might kind of be good for everybody, there is for parents an acknowledgement around just looking at like anything that would be in the frontal area. So think like from above breast to forehead, areas of skin cancer susceptibility and removal.
Okay.
So like for your mom, if she gets a mole on like her clavicle, like underneath her like throat area, or if there's like if dad has to get something off of the nose, it's kind of that feeling of just being mindful of skin susceptibility.
Okay. I'm just writing that down because that's very important for everyone. But just keep, I mean, is there anything else that you're...
I mean, nothing's like red flagging me, which is just a good sign.
I know. I'm like, oh, thank God. Whew, you can all take a breath now. I know that's always... Yeah.
So sorry, real quick. They said that Joseph passed when he was 27 years old, and he died of complications. I got two answers. He died of complications from juvenile diabetes, and my mom said pneumonia.
Okay.
So.
Got it. Okay. Well, it definitely felt like he would fall into the category of one of the earlier passings for sure.
And not to make us do math, but in 2021, Ellen would have been 30. She passed December 20th.
Well, you did say December.
Okay, yes.
December 20th of 2020?
Yeah, and then someone wrote on March 15th, 2021, that she would have been 30 years old today.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we can look back in and check on that.
1991.
Yeah, she was born in 91?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, that'd be the 90s.
Yeah. I was like, that makes sense. That's with the right time. I'm like, I don't know when she was born. I mean, for some reason, Just for everything goes blank.
It's okay. We call it psychic amnesia, and honestly, I can barely remember my immediate family's
I
names.
can't
I
even.
call out every other name except the name I'm intending.
That's
And it's
okay.
worse with dogs. When you have like a whole team of dogs, it's
Yeah.
like everybody.
Just shout them all out at once. My mom, we always joke because my mom has 7 children, so she'll just be like Georgia, Kristen, Katie, or whoever it is, and like we'll all just be like, okay, we're here,
Yes.
and then we
Standard
correct her
attention.
later because it's fine.
Yes.
Like you just know it's one of the part of being in a big family.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
so funny. I love that. I wanted to tell you too, because I always can kind of get a sense of a gauge of how much is there and how much more, remains.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more here that I want to be able to tap into. I just want to be able to do it with the clearest degree of concentration. So what I want to do is I would love to, can we do another reading if you would like?
Sure.
And
Oh,
follow
I
up and
would
go
love
down the
that.
whole list?
I have so many things now. I have like 2 pages of notes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, and I did want to tell you, on our last thing, you mentioned like seeing a sunset drive or driving in a car and watching a sunset.
Yes.
And you're like along coast and you're like, I keep seeing this. And you like asked me where I was. And I said I was in St. Petersburg, which we were all saying like, and you were talking about real estate, and our office is on Beach Drive. And it does have that really iconic like beach vibe there. But the other weird correlation thing was when we were in Maine, which would have gone back to around the timeline when I think I lost the baby. We were driving down the coast and the sun was setting and we had to drive in the car to get down to watch the sunset because it's like really down the way. And I remember we like couldn't find the right turn and the right parking spot. We had put the windows down. We were like watching the sunset in this like iconic Maine coastline. And when you said that, I was like, oh, I don't know what that would have been. And then after I went to the doctor and I went back at the timeline, I'm like, if that was when she had passed, if that was where it was, because it was right around that time that not that I had stopped feeling her, but that would have been around the timeline that she had passed. And I'm like, it was just such a beautiful day. And we took this picture of our family on the sunset, like Maine beach. And I like have it. And 2 days ago when I was in my son's school, I saw that picture that we took that day. And I was like, I got to remember this for the reading to remind you, because there were just so many things that you said that later on we looked through and we were just blown away by the stuff that you said that,
It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. And I so appreciate you sharing those moments of validation with me. I hope that they kind of act as buoys, among a very, very rough water of life. Life is tricky, it's painful, and, grief is one of those things that is not to be resolved. I think, if anything, it's a lifelong process.
Yeah.
But you've done such a phenomenal job at honoring all of your loved ones. And I'm excited to keep the conversation going. And
Yeah.
I would love to get to talk again. I want to send you your scribble as well.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm framing it 100%.
Oh my goodness. And we'll get a couple scribbles out of this.
Okay.
If you send your address to Heather, I'll get that in the mail to you. And then just in your email, just say, add me onto the rescheduling list and we'll get you in circulation. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You are just the best. I love that it must be so draining. I can't even imagine how you do it. My sister who's here, our great aunt had like ability like yours. And she would do readings for people. Our Aunt Sidra, who's on the Latvian side as well.
Right.
And she lived in Hawaii and she had passed and we all had gone to see her and she did readings for all of us. And she just said she kind of had moved away to Hawaii to like get space from people because it was like so draining of her energy to like share her gift that even in her old age, it was like, so for you to do this for your life, and for now, I'm like, I could totally see Tyler taking off to Hawaii at some point, being like, I'm leaving
You're
them.
gonna give me the idea. I'm gonna
leave the mainland behind. I'm gonna go live in Hawaii in peace and just have rest.
Right.
So for you sharing
like
your gift so much for the world and your energy, I can't. It's so incredible that you do this.
I so
really
appreciate
is.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler.
We want to get tickets to come see you when you're in Clearwater.
Yeah, when you come to Clearwater, we're coming to see you.
Fabulous. Well, hit us up we're happy to give away free tickets as well. So we give them out like candy. So I'd love to see you there.
Awesome,
and we'll
great.
do a meet and greet as well. Just add
awesome.
that to your email for Heather and say
I
you're
will.
coming to the show. And we'll make it happen, my friends.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyler. We'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
All
Talk
right.
to you soon. Bye.
Bye, Tyler. Wow, I can't believe it.